Hi, it's Mark Shepard, and this is today's morning musing. The sound you hear in the background is an air conditioner. I couldn't take it anymore. So I took action. Now, if you think about it, we don't have problems. We have challenges. And the human being has some really good qualities in that kind of the engineer's mind, that aspect of the human mind that doesn't take things personally but looks for solutions and looks for ways to solve the problem. It's a very masculine energy. It's a very, it's what builds bridges. It's the mind of the engineer, Polish engineer in the Revolutionary War, Kosciuszko. He's had a couple of bridges named after him that figured out how to, when Fort Ticonderoga was going down to the British, he built a bridge of rafts across Lake Champlain and got the American Army out of there. Literally saved the Revolutionary War. Thinking mind. He didn't get upset. He didn't freak out. He just focused on what he needed to do. So that being said, today we're all about solving problems, which is a thing in the past. We're now going to call them challenges. I talked about this yesterday, or in the previous music. And so now the air conditioner is creating a couple of new problems. One, there's a lot of noise in the background. But I'm going to experiment with a solution to that somebody came up with called noise reduction. And I'm going to see with this kind of space of silence here if I can turn off that noise in the background. So we'll see. I may have to redo this. I don't know. But there's no failure. There's only feedback, right? That is one of the NLP presuppositions, one of the assumptions, one of the beliefs that we attempt to install in ourselves, and to the degree that we're successful with that, life stops being a bunch of problems and starts being challenges and solutions, opportunities to learn. So today, really, that's what I'm going to explore, and I'm going to see, I'm going to stop the video right now and see if the noise in the background is workable, or if I just have to turn off the air conditioner while I'm doing my musing and sweat it out. So, but that's not a problem. I'm not a victim of that, right? We have resources. Now, if I didn't have the resource to get the air conditioner today, I would have done something different. I'm seeing clients this afternoon, so I would have found someplace else to see them, or I would have checked to make sure that they're okay just sweating, Or we could have gone to the park and done our NLP work on a park bench. So there's always a solution. Sometimes we can't see it. Sometimes we're too deep in the problem. We're up, above our eye level in the problem. And that's why sometimes a practitioner or someone else who can help us to kind of get up above the problem and look down on it as an observer can be very helpful. So I'm going to stop the video and see if it's workable. And if it is, I'll put it back on and we'll splice these together. And if it's not, I'll just turn the air conditioner off and we'll keep going from there. I'll be right back. All right, so Mark Shepard back, and I'm going to continue my morning musing. I did turn the air conditioner off, so I'm going to be sweating here. The sound was pretty loud. So again, I'm not a victim of anything here. It's like we try something. If it doesn't work, we try something else. Really, that's one of the foundation principles of neuro-linguistic programming, and truly, really, any path of noticing how the world works and adjusting our internal experience, our internal interpretation of the world, so that we get good results instead of pain. Now, I was talking a little bit before about the engineer's mind, and Carlos Castaneda's teacher, Don Juan Matus, talked about there being some kind of a foreign installation, he called it, in our mind, a parasite, that is different from what is truly our natural mind, what he called silent knowledge. And if you can imagine an animal, I love Labrador retrievers. If a Labrador retriever wants to go for a walk and you say no, and you go off to work, your Labrador retriever doesn't spend the day being upset or mad. It may be bored and it may find something to chew on. It may have to pee. It may pee on the floor. But it's not mad. It's not an emotional outburst. Now, studies have been done that show that animals really actually do have emotions. But it's not the kind of emotional train wreck that we human beings seem to be able to do. And Don Juan Matus and the Castaneda books, I really challenge you to read them. Start from the latest one and work your way backwards. Talks about, and also Don Miguel Ruiz, who wrote the book The Four Agreements on the Mastery of Love, also talks about the parasite. It's part of the Toltec tradition. And I don't know if there's actually an alien being kind of, like in the Matrix, just kind of feeding off of our emotional outbursts of energy. But it makes so much sense if you think about it. And if it's just a metaphor, work with it. Because when I am kind of in that neutral space, and a lot of what I do with timeline therapy and NLP enables us to kind of get off the emotional roller coaster and get to kind of a neutral space where we can see what's happening and we don't react. We're getting rid of the reactivity. Because it's like there's so much energy drained from reacting to everything. And, and I have a friend who a long time ago found that there was a whole series of problems, and he was a victim of all these problems. He had a girlfriend, and he and his girlfriend got pregnant because they didn't know how to use birth control. And they had a child when they were in their early 20s. And so they got married, and my friend, was an artist and wanted a career in the arts. And he just kept seeing, with every kid that was born, eventually they had 3 kids, he kept seeing that in his own mind he was a victim of, his wife his wife said it was safe. He was a victim. Then he started feeling he was a victim of his parents. He was a victim of the record companies. He was the victim of this and that, and then he also had a lot of health issues, and he had no energy, and he was just a victim in every area of his life. And everywhere he looked, there was someone to blame for his miserable experience. And one day he read a book, and it was one of the Castaneda books, and he saw the part about self-importance and self-pity. And how that feeling like a victim in life just sucks a huge amount of energy. And he made a vow right then to work on that. And so for the last 20 years, he's been working on it and chipping away bit by bit, bit by bit. And eventually, it was kind of interesting because it turns out, all the things he had been doing to try to make a living just kind of fell apart. He had 4 houses that he had purchased for nothing down back in the 1980s, at the top of the 1980s real estate bubble. Boom, they all became worth less than he owed on them. So he was in a real jam financially and just ended up going bankrupt and lost houses to foreclosure and just ended up absolutely back at square one. And there was nothing else he could do except he was a songwriter, this guy. And because he had kids, he was writing kids' songs for his kids. Even though he had all this resentment and felt like he was a victim, and every time a kid was born, he felt, there's another nail in the coffin of my music career. And he just felt all this stuff. And he was miserable and angry and resentful. He was just going through life. And it just seemed like he kept attracting more stuff, more negative stuff. And he was always waiting for the other shoe to fall. Always waiting for, what bad thing's going to happen next, and things like, he would say things like, I can never get a break, and all these kinds of negative things. But when it all fell apart, he had nothing else to do but do kid music. So literally his children gave him his music career. And that friend of mine was me. And As I look at this beloved teacher of mine currently in my life who's going through a breakup and who I spoke about yesterday, and who's just, everything is all about her being a victim. Everything. And I can see myself in her. I see that that's exactly how I was. And I can also see how easy it is for the human mind to go there. And I just imagine this parasite. I imagine this alien being kind of, I can't even imagine what it's like, but just there's some force in the universe that just like we eat chicken, it's there, and it's kind of scary and ominous, so don't go too far with this, but I just imagine this parasite eventually getting, kind of starved out, because I'm no longer splashing all this negative emotion out for it to feed on. Now, that metaphor works good for me. It works well for me. I don't know if it works for you, but today, again, I want to invite you to let go of the idea of problem. Let go of the idea of problem. Let go of the idea of being a victim. And embrace the idea that no matter what's happening, you created it, and you created it for a purpose, and it's an opportunity to learn. And again, I am not ever saying this is easy. And I am not saying that, horrendous things don't happen to people and that it's hard to go through. People have been interned in concentration camps. People have been hurt and killed and all kinds of things. I'm not trying to diminish that. We live in a world of hard objects. But all the mystics tell us, all the wise people throughout history have come to us and said, hey, we are creating this with our minds. This is an illusion. This is a shared dream, to talk in the terms of Don Miguel Ruiz of the Four Agreements. This is a shared dream, this world, this reality, this culture that we live in. And when you wake up from the dream, suddenly you see that everyone else is dreaming. And you can see them going about their business, and you can see that there's a lot of angst, a lot of unnecessary stuff. So I invite you today to take the engineer's mind to your life, to let go of the emotions for the moment. Set them aside, put them behind you, shrink them down, and see if you can get up above your life and see with clarity the opportunities and the resources that are there. One of the other NLP presuppositions is that we have all the resources we need at any given time. The challenge is that we don't often realize we have those resources. And really that's what I do as an NLP master practitioner, is I help kind of connect people with the resources they already have. I help them get out of the boundaries, out of the cage of their problem. And so today I invite you to open the door of your cage and step out. Step out into a new reality. Wake up. Wake up to the fact that you have an amazing body. And it can do amazing things. Look, I can move my hands. I have a friend who can't. And it's to be grateful for exactly what you have right now. I'm grateful again for this hot, humid summer day. I'm grateful that I had the resource to buy an air conditioner, so later when I work with a client, it'll be cool. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for this video camera. I'm grateful for the tripod that it's standing on. Do you know what I mean? Go through the list of things you're grateful for and the things that you have to work with. And get into the engineer's mind. What are your tools? What are your resources? What supplies do you have to build a solution to your current challenge? Or what would it be like to get so far above the challenge that it becomes absolutely a blessing and a gift and something that you look forward to learning from? So that's my morning musing today. Mark Shepard, peace and grooviness, over and out. Just have the best day you can today. Intend it. Hold it in your mind. Appreciate every little piece of it. The good, the bad, the frustrating, the challenging, the delightful, the joyful. And there's so much more to say on this, but I got to stop because I got to go get ready for my work day. So thanks so much, Mark Shepard. Again, peace, grooviness, over and out, and have yourself a great day.